Oh, mate, it is always something. But anyway, as long as you can hear me, which it sounds like you can, maybe the camera will start playing ball on its own without me doing anything. Oh, dear. Well, it's only you anyway, Sean, so that's just fine. Thank you very much. Right, let's just see. I'll give this one more push and see if it's going to just play ball or not. So let's just find out what's going on there. Let's try that and aha! Hopefully in a second have video. Who knows? Let's find out. Let's see if that's working just here. Let's try that. There we go. Should have some right now. Oliver! Hello. It shouldn't be disembodied anymore. You should be actually seeing me as well right now. What gives with that? Crazy. Oh, need coffee now. There I am. Always something. Always. Anyway, moving on. So, and the camera UI just keeps popping up in front of me. But anyway, not to worry. I'm drawing some of these at the minute. I thought it might be fun to draw another one. And you could watch and see how these things are or are not done. So, because they're kind of fun. And I'm doing a book thing with these in at the moment. So, and also just right at this particular second, I was error spotting on one that I drew earlier today. And you can see here I found errors. And that's, so that is just weird junk going on there. If I delete that, absolutely nothing happens. That's good. So the best way I think I can do to fix that, I kind of feel like I'm an episode of Breaking Bad now because I'm showing you the end before the beginning, is to turn that into a live paint group. So I'll do that right now. Switch to the live paint bucket, sample that colour and just fill in those regions there. There we go. That should do it. Then expand that and merge it. There we go. Problem fixed, I think. Yep, all clear now. So now I have to go around and check all of that stuff. But anyway, it's merged. It is one thing. Can't tell here if there's... So if you don't know how well you can see that, but it looks fuzzy along that top. And that's just a redraw error from Illustrator. Look, there we go. Actually, it looks really bumpy. Just there. Shouldn't do. I mean, it's clean. But there we are. There we are. Right then, so show you how I do this sort of stuff, including in this one. So typically I draw a line of a particular determination. I'm going to do 1 inch just there and just get that so it shows up. And the important bit here for me is to make sure that the corners are rounded on it. And then I'm going to twirl it through 45 degrees. And then make it a dashed line like so, 0.5 point gap. Not that the gap is important, it could be whatever you want. There we go, 8 point gap, even 7, whatever. There we are, nice. It is actually nice if you do get a point that lands in the middle, however, that is very, very useful. I can see when the middle is there, so I might actually tune that so that I get a point in the middle. There we go, excellent, that worked really, really well with 6. Super good. It's close enough for what I need. Then copy that, paste it in front, and flip that over like so. And a nice way to work with this, if depending on how deep your pattern's going to be, or your line is going to be, I turn this into a pattern. So I do that. The line weight there is 1 point. So make a pattern. Okay, and then all I need to do here is to subtract the weight of the line. So -1 point from both of those values, and you can see how it moves in. At the moment, the height, you can see just extra little bits on top. But as soon as I change that, like so, so -1 PT, just there, and you can see suddenly that all lines up. And there we are. Uma, hello. There we go, done. So now I've got a nice, neat pattern swatch. Don't need that anymore. Then I draw a shape like so, and then fill that with that pattern. Determine how much I want, like that, something like that is good. Let's just have a quick look. That's pretty much bang on actually, and then determine how wide I want it, of course. So how many repeats I want on there. So counting 2, 4, 6 is good. There we are. I've got something I can work to. Yay. Okay. I've got a handy tool here, that Arc by Points tool from Astute Graphics. So, let's do one other thing here. Let's go. There's going to be a lot of Astute Graphics stuff in here. So what I'm going to do here is completely ungroup this. I'm going to make sure it includes clipping groups and remove clipping paths, like so. Okay, and it says no eligible groups are found. I might need to just expand that. If I'll do that, object, and expand the fill, and then I'll try that again. Get rid of those, completely ungroup, and do that. There you go, that's much better. It tells me it's removed 266 groups. The unfortunate thing is because of the way that Illustrator draws the patterns, it now gives me all of this stuff back. I don't need all of that stuff, so I just have to go and delete it. But it's not exactly like going down into the cold dark earth and fetching back coal, to be perfectly honest. But there we are. So a couple of ways I do this. So I use this Arc by Points tool, and I'm just going to set this up first of all to be nice and heavy. And something like that. Make sure it's not going to be a dashed line, don't want it to be a dashed line. And then just grab these and just lock them, so I can still use them like so. Something like that, and I can draw with that. I don't know why that's dropped back down to that, but anyway, it's kept. That's because I clicked on it last. It kept all the properties of that. So you can see if I do that and copy it, if I want to repeat it along there. So if I switch to the selection tool and copy one across like so, like that, and then repeat that transformation along there, something like that. Works pretty well. Then I can grab all of those and drag a copy, take it down to here, and then flip those. I'm going to make the top point the reference point and flip. Should have perhaps made the bottom one, but anyway, there you are. So now I've got all of those. Hopefully these haven't joined together. They haven't, so that's good. Sometimes also when I'm doing this, I tend to make things different colours. So the line I'm looking for is down here. Yeah. So if I join those, and thank you very much Stream Deck, cheers. If I join those and change the colour, whoops, and change the colour of those, and that makes that just temporarily easier to work with. There we are. And make that whatever I need it to be, just for the time being, which is handy. And do that. I might not do the full. I didn't stretch far enough across, just there for that one. So you can see I need this one, and then this one. Not watching my own diagonals. Grab this one and this one, and then do the same on the other side in a moment. So it looks like the coolest tube map in the world. A minute, I think I'm going to need to grab another one of these and just pop it over there. Just join those together, and I can of course repeat as many things as I need to. There we go. Let's pick up those and join them together. I don't always do this many colours, but today I do, because right, okay, now I might join together this one, perfect, and then I might join together this one and this one. Start to make more sense of those cross patterns in there. That's cool. Okay, that's working all right in there so far. Then it's a matter of determining where I'm going to join these things up to. So what I might do is I might grab something like this one. I don't quite know how many bits I'm going to have in this. I'm going to use another Astute Graphics tool, the Extend Path tool. I can extend these out like so. Now that's slightly out of whack just there, so I'm going to switch over. Just get both of those things. There we are. So now I can work out how many of these I'm going to have in here. So let's try overlapping those two. Right, it makes sense because I copied that angle from the other one, so I know how much it's out by. But I mean, it doesn't have to be geometrically perfect for this. In fact, sometimes a little bit of being out makes it more humanist, because these things would originally have been drawn by hand. There we go. And that's pretty much telling me where I can start to think about joining these things up. And something else, if you get a section like this, so if I just go here and just delete that segment, oops, or just delete the right side segment there, like so. Do the same here and here, and let's see if that's going to break that. It is. So I just need to split that one in a second, but from here I can clear these off. This one needs to be split in both places, so it's probably going to be easier for me to split it in different places, like that, and then grab those. Caroline, hello. Yeah, that's gonna. I'll leave those overlaps as they are, but I just won't make them quite as prominent. Something like that is good. So once you've got to a point like that, I'm not going to worry too much about the other ends just for the moment, I guess. Or do I want to extend those? Actually, I will. Why not? When you get to a certain point like this and you get everything correct on the ends, or the way you want it on the ends, not necessarily correct, but the way you'd like it to be on the ends, then you can flip all of this over using one of the things that's bang on the centre like this. I kind of didn't really want to terminate that at that particular point, but I'm going to have to now, so I'll do it in a slightly different way. And this is another Astute Graphics tool. So this one joins lines together. You can see that it keeps all the geometries tight. I think I've got too many bits in there, but anyway. Do that. Switch to the reflect tool and copy that. So now I've got a thing there. I might model that, I would ordinarily model that slightly differently, like the one down here. You can see it's got 5 bumps in the middle, then the double ends there, but they come from a slightly different way. In fact, shall I do that? Just determining whether or not to simplify this for the purposes of now. I could do, yeah, I'll do that actually. I'll make this a lot easier just to demonstrate the thing I do want to show. So what I do with something like that, once I've got it, is I'd copy that, then make it the overall width I want. So here I'll go with 22 points, just there. Okay, just change. Normally I'd change the colour of those, but I'll paste these down in front. Okay, and then change their colour and size. Okay, and in fact where they are at 8 points is just about right, maybe down to 6 in the middle. So hopefully now you can see how this is going to work out. I then outline that path, and then I get the other paths here just to make sure they're all, in fact if I undo that I'll get all of them in one go, and outline all of those. So now they're shapes, can be dealt with differently, and then tap D to default those and swap over the fill and stroke, and then the slash key just to get rid of the fill. That's part of the way. There you can see all of these weird bits that are created. Well, they're not weird, but they're created by the path ends that join things together. But they are always worth inspecting later on. You just need to be aware that they're there, because you do sometimes get these oddities like this, where for some reason they're not working the same as the ones at the top. So my drawing must have been out slightly in the first place. Now is as good a time as any for me to fix those if I want to, And one of the easiest ways I think I can do that would be to select those points and average them and have a look at how that changes anything, if at all. And I think that's fine. Let's just have a look at that. Yeah, the only thing that it might benefit from at this particular point would be for me to, in addition to the round end caps, would be to change the corners to rounded as well, because that will solve some of the other problems in there. Oh my word. Hello. Ray, hello. And Clever, hi. I just looked up and suddenly there was chattering going on. Fantastic. Hello. Right, so yeah, all of that's rounded off. That looks much more sensible than it did a moment ago. Just going to do a quick save on that because I'm doing it inside of a live document. Then, so at the moment these are all paths on the outside. I don't want them to necessarily be that way, or in fact to be that way at all. I'm just going to make them slightly thicker to start off with, so it starts to look really muddy just now. I think that's probably too thick. I'm going to go with, I'm going to go halfway between those things. So 3.5. I think that makes all the difference. And then I'm going to outline those. So now everything there is a shape. And then it's a matter of choosing where to actually start working with this. Now sometimes I can see already here I'm going to have a problem there because it's not crossing over completely, and that actually needs to separate, but we'll have a look at that in a bit. Let's see how that goes so far, or I can fix it right now. So sometimes what you have to do, if you've only done that one step between creating the live paint group and outlining the paths and creating the live paint group, you can back up. I'm not too bad, Ray, thanks very much. I was absorbed in my work earlier. I said I was going to start at 3. I planned to stop doing what I was doing at 2 and then realised it was like 4 minutes to 3, but there you go. Because it's a better time, and Sean is a very good man and worked with me so we could work out, so we weren't going over the top of each other's work. So right, okay, anyway, I've undone that because the last thing I did in the history there, you can see, was outline the stroke, and then I created the live paint group. Well, it's only registered that outline stroke. In fact, maybe I didn't even get as far as the live paint group then. But I've just gone back to that, so that's still there, because now I've got a couple of choices. If I want to be super clean and tidy, what I can do is I can cut these at their corners, like so. The other thing that does sometimes get in the way and looks confusing at the moment, as well as I've got my pattern or my grid underneath that I made. So what I could also do, just to make things easier, is to hide that. So if I just spin that open on the layers and go for that, let's find out which one it is. I thought, oh, that's down at the bottom. So now I've got to find which one that's at. Oh, it's locked, so that's easy enough. So if I turn off some of these, I don't know why they're not grouped. These ones, but anyway, let's just hide a whole stack of those. Should have grouped that, really. But anyway, and let's just scroll down. Man, that's a lot of paths. Note to self, group it. Because quite often I do that on another layer as well. So there we go. It's a long-winded way around doing it, but we got there. Okay, so I started cutting these corners off, and Now if I find which ones I began at, I'm not sure they've cut. They have. So let's get rid of those. And that. And that. And that. And the ones on the outside will also need cutting. So it's quite a lot of chopping around. But it has to be done so that you've got all of the sectors that you'll need when you start pulling it together. But like a lot of other things, it will suddenly snowball. So it takes a bit of setting up in the first place. I just hit that one point there. But once you've done it, then it works real quick. Da, 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 da. It does look a bit like a Pac-Man grid. That's true. I'm just trying to get the path segment there. I'm getting exactly the wrong bit. So there we are. There we are. And I've got to do this in a couple of other places as well, unfortunately, because this here is a mess and it's overlaid with another mess. I might have to fix that afterwards, so you might get to see how both work. So then what I would do is join these together. Now I'm going to use this Astute Graphics tool to do this. It makes it super fast. You can see just clicking between those things, or tapping between if I use the okay. Are they two stray points there? No, they're right. Okay, this bit here really is an area of concern. So what I might do, just for now, just to perhaps make things a little bit easier, is I've just double clicked on that to isolate it. I might then cut that, but I'm going to cut it shy of all the curves that are in there, because these aren't going to do the drawing any good at all, these bits. Okay, that's fine as it is. Come out of that one, do the same over on this one, and then just chop this up. So I need to be able to overdraw those corners like that. There we go. That's much clearer. I'm glad I only went with the two now, because sometimes you do have to go in and make a lot of adjustments. These ones will have to be clear also. So we're not quite out of the woods yet. I could even use the eraser tool on these just to get rid of that. And then go in on that one segment. Just there. That was unwise. Can you see that? That curve, that means that that path would not connect properly from there. And then I'll need to also fix this one. And some of this, if I'm really honest, some of this was avoidable because I wasn't thinking to start off with. With that, I wasn't thinking clearly. I could have avoided all of that to some degree, but that's how it happens. You must kick yourself when those things do happen, and you think, oh, I didn't have to do that. There we go. Right, again, that looks a mess at the minute, just saved. I'm just checking I'm not clocking any time. I'm not. I've got Tim at the top here. Checking for the client time. I just suddenly thought, did I stop the thing? And I did. Right, so I'm going to switch to this tool again and then just join these up. The great news is they're all opposite each other, so it's really easy to do that. And this is so much easier than Illustrator's native tools. to get that right. It upsets me to have to say that, but it's the truth. Okay, I think that's going to be all right. I'm not too worried about these bits here. Could clip them if I wanted to. And there's a reasonable case for doing so, but I think I'm going to leave them. Any other problems I get, I think I'm going to resolve those afterwards. Another thing I frequently do when I'm doing something like that is just keep a line copy for a little bit, and just to make sure that I'm using only the line copy, give that a different colour. Like that, see? There you go. Okay, right. Let me know if you want to see one of the ones I've been working on. I've got a small book thing coming out shortly, and there's a thing on the cover. There's one of these on the cover. If you want to see it, let me know in the chat and I'll show you it, if you like. Okay, now if I outline all of those paths, I'm going to immediately zoom in on these curves just to make sure that everything there has made a good path, which it has. Down at the bottom, oops, down at the bottom that all looks good down there. So, time then to start doing colouring. So I'm going to switch to the paint bucket tool. I haven't made it a live paint object yet, but that will become a live paint object as soon as I do it. Not the best way to do it because it depends on where you first land. It's supposed to turn the entire selection, but it doesn't always do that. So let's choose a colour for this. I think a nice bright orange. There we go. So now it's converted, it's a live paint group. Then we can work around under that. You want to see it? Okay, I'll show you in a minute, Ray. So I'm going to go over on this one, which means I'm going to go under on that one, which means wherever this one ends up, down here, forgotten already, under, that one's going to go over, like so. So it will stop there, so it's going to go under, then whoop, then over. Ooh, there you go, you see, there's another problem. Those intersections just there have got gaps in. So that's going to be a real problem because I can't really go over that properly like so, because it's going to fill in on both of those things. That is a real pain. And I did not see it. But, so how do you fix that? I'll show you. So I basically need to create more sectors in these areas just here. Which means going into the live paint group until you can make it selectable at those points, and then adding lines to it to divide it up. But you do have to be, you do have to be really careful with that, because it can break real quickly. But anyway, let's zoom in on that. So, and if this was on a curve, then, oh, there is actually a line there, or it drew it anyway. Sometimes draw it on the outside as well. In fact, I'll do that now. You want to see that one? Okay, I'll show you. Hold on. Da-da-da-dun. Oh, well, I would do, but it doesn't exist apparently. Let's try that one. Oh, okay. I've been away. It's been cleaned up. Right, so I'm outside of the live paint group. Never normally this awkward, I've got to be honest. But I've got to make a choice now on how I deal with that sort of Oxenthorpe shape, because the easiest way for me to do it is to get the line tool and draw the lines in between. Typically when I'm doing this, I give them a colour that I'm not going to use anywhere else. Okay, and change the line weight so I can see them. And I'm using the point information to do it. You can see this is a real bind, but it's still easier than trying to draw the whole thing as a path object. You just work your way through and do that. I think there's enough. Oh, there's not quite enough information there. There we go. That will stop all of those. And then once you've got them, use the select similar, cut them, go into the live paint group and paste them in place. And that should fix those sectors. So here, this went under, which means it's got to go over. Let's put it to the test and hold an Option key, sample that. So let's go, no, I didn't do this one. Rats. Everyone's different. There we go. Right, I'll go back and draw some more bits. Oh, I'm still in the live paint group. I should be able to draw in the live paint group. Let me just get rid of that, because I drew that accidentally. Right, try again. And of course I'm going to have to do this at a couple of other places as well. But let's just see if that's just going to be those. It does. Paste those in. And let's try again. I drew like 3 of these this morning. And it didn't, and more complex than this. Didn't take anywhere near as much time as that. My own fault, anyway. Right, so now I can go over that segment in the right way, which means it goes under this one, but I'm going to hit the same problem, I think, just here, or maybe not. So that one's going over, that one's going under, that goes around the corner, and then it goes over, and then under. So you can see now it's going to work, now it should work much quicker. I could also just tap the slash key here to give a fill of none and start getting rid of that stuff in between. But the only danger is that here I actually need that information. So provided you know it's in an area like that, that won't affect any other intersection, then you can do it. And it works fine. So, right, so that one's gone over, so it's going under again. So let's just resample that colour. So under, over, under, over. Oh, didn't go around my own corner. Over, under, over, under, over. Ooh, too keen there. Ah, right, okay, that one needs dividing up as well. But you can see it's not a huge effort to do it. I think I'm actually finding it more of an effort because I'm going to talk about it as I'm doing it. But that's neither here nor there. Select the same, cut that, jump into here, paste it, come out, and then I should be able to carry on from there now. Oh, I've seen a problem. Okay, over, under, over, under. Oh, that's correct now. There we go. So that's working out all right just there. However, it should also be joining onto that one. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to persist with doing this just for the minute. Okay, so you can see how this works out afterwards. if I can get that to behave. There we go. So I'll just go over that bit and under that bit. I can also just do that just there, which helps make more sense of it. And do that. So that's gone under, so it'll go over, under, over, all the way over, under, over, under. Yeah, over. Oh, there we are. The same problem down there. I want to keep those lines handy, but it's like not a massive effort to draw all of those. Apart from I have to either deselect all or do what I'm doing right now and move between them. If you watch my or look at my Daily Lightroom Edits project, by the way, it's his birthday today. It's a year since I started that project. It's the 365th one today. How about that? Okay. So it's gone under, so it'll go over. I think I'm going to hit the same problem here in a minute. Oh, maybe not. Yeah. Under there, over here, under, over there. Oh, see, there we are. Easy to identify sectors. That's sometimes why choosing different colours to begin with is helpful. But as you can see and have seen, the fixes are dead straightforward. There we go. Takes like a minute to do that. Quick switch of tools, paste in place, back out, it's done. Okay, good. I think there's going to be a second one up there somewhere. There it is. We'll get to that in a moment. So paint bucket, sample that colour and go, oh, there you go. Oh, did I just do the wrong one? There we are. Pick up those. And that's I didn't do the one underneath. If you're fed up, oh, little lines are there. That means if they're doing that and that's not filling in, it means one of two things. Either means the lines aren't in the live paint group, which I might not have done. I might have neglected to do that. And what I should do when I do this is just visually check to see that it's got the live paint outlines on it. I'm just watching the time. Okay. And get that, and then let's try that. There we go. Over, under. So that's good. Let's just do. That one can fill in just anyway because it doesn't really matter. And also clearing out those bits doesn't matter either. So you can see it's starting to get clearer. So next one with that one. So that's going to go over. Oh man, another sector just there. I'll come back to that in a second. So that's going to go under. That's going to go over. Let's go under and over. And under and over. Under and over. And over. You see there's those segments just there. David! Hello! The first 48 minutes, David. I didn't tell you, man. I'm sorry. I was wrapped up in what I was doing this morning. So my fault, my bad. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna do something unwise there. I think that's going under, which means that one would go over. That one will go under. There we go. That's correct. Up there. Okay. So this one. It's always dangerous to do this little bit like this. That one's going under, so that one will go over. It would also go over there as well. There we go. Which means that one can be, can be completed there. There we are. And this one actually is very, very simple. It's not. But I didn't pay as much attention to the line work as I should have done at the beginning. Right, okay, let's just fix these ones. And then show you how. All right, that one needs fixing as well. Okay, so it's going under, so over, and that one there will go under, which means that will go over, like so. That's another area that needs fixing just there, I think. Oh no, it's not. It's me being super keen with that. Under, over, okay. I'm going to run into trouble if I keep ignoring those, and yeah, okay. Right, let's go in and fix these. See how quickly I can do all of those. Indeed, better late than ever. Absolutely, David. Absolutely. Okay. Right, so let's go and fix. See, that's harder to see now because I'm looking at a bigger field of orange. Oh my word. Anyway, it gets there eventually. There we go. Okay, there we go. And live paint bucket and sample and do that. Okay, and now work out where I am. So that one's going under. Hello, that one's going over, so it goes under, which means that one, there we go. Can you see? That's better. There we go. It gets really confusing when you have that thing there go wrong. I was going to do something in Neo today. How many of you are using Neo already routinely? How many of you have never heard of Neo? That'd be an interesting question. Okay. Okay, fix that one as well. This is why I don't like doing that. I should have stopped. Okay. I should have stopped and paid attention to this one earlier. I should have not carried on and done it without, because now I just made it difficult for me to see. Not hugely so. but enough. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so that one's going under, which means it's going over that one. And that's sort of fixing itself now. I've got other areas that I need to fix, of course, but let me just show you before I wrap up what happens after that when you've got it complete. So once you have it and it's all done, oh man, I should really just try and just fix that little bit there, you know, for the sake of a couple of minutes. Sorry, gonna do it. Can't leave it as it is, but I'm not going to do these individually. I'm going to do the one that's above it as well. So just drop those down on there, and I'm going to do this one here because this one needs fixing too. Let's select all of those and cut. Okay, they're all reading properly. Hopefully this will now work. So that one went over, so it's going to go over there. That's good. That went under, so it's going to go over that one, which then goes under. Perfect. Okay, so the only thing that needs to happen here is that this one needs to go up there. There you are. See, for the sake of a couple of minutes, it's all good. Right, so once you've got something like that, the next step on from there is to expand it. So fortunately, button in the quick actions area allows you to do that really quickly. And Uma's dabbled in Neo. Cool. And Sean has also used Neo, yeah. And Sean's off to get ready for his 4 o'clock, I dare say, over on Discord, I think. Anyway, get to that particular point there, expand it, and then run one of the pathfinders on it, the merge pathfinder. Okay, and what that does is it takes all items of similar colour and wherever it can makes them into as few paths as possible. Okay, typically joins them. So you can see now that's changed. All of those intersecting areas have gone. However, one of the products of Live Paint when you expand Live Paint is sometimes you get weird little artifacts, and the best way to look at it is to go into outline mode, right, and then just visually scan. It's where there's curves are the places where it's most likely to happen, but you get small lines that appear in between. Right, so let's just say, for example, I saw down here like another little line going up there, for example. You'd see something like that, and that normally indicates that things have got too close together and there's the tiniest of sectors in between. But this one, actually, it's not very complicated, so it does actually look pretty clean. And so why that's important depends on the use. One, it's always best to do the best work you can when you're doing something like that. But why it's really important to analyze this and to make sure that it's super clean that way. And especially another thing, by the way, is to get rid of any of those additional points. If you look at that, there's a lot of points on there that don't need to be there. Yeah. Now, there are, of course, the Illustrator native tools. Okay, so you've got Simplify in there, you've got Smooth. I prefer to use the Astute Graphics version, so I like their offset path. In fact, let's just run check selection here, and it tells me exactly what it thinks is wrong with this. So it's saying there's 480 unneeded points, 6 redundant points, so they do nothing, go nowhere, 41 unpainted paths, those are lines that have got no visual attribute at all, 2 short handles, that's normally points that sit right on top of each other, as is close points. There 2 inconsistent point types, 68 unnecessary handles. So there's curve handles where there don't need to be curve handles. But short handles are things that are barely a curve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just say fix all, but then I watch the artwork very, very carefully. And I think that has all stayed all right, but I look at where all the little joins are. And now if I do check selection, it's still telling me there's some things there that could be fixed. I tend to do this about 3 times until it says no points could be removed. Okay, I just actually did a point. I just accidentally clicked on point removal, and if you look what's gone on there, so let me just undo that. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to click on check selection until it says no issues in selection, and then I'm happy with it. Because if I wanted to take this now down to the laser and cut it down there, then I could do so knowing that it's going to give me the best travel from there. The only other thing I need to fix, and extra points if you spotted this already, is that these paths here don't join up, and they should. So I'll go and fix that in my own time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am getting used to coming back into here on a Tuesday. I didn't think I was going to be able to today because I was meant to be somewhere else, but that got cancelled. And yeah, 3 o'clock is the new time. It doesn't cross over with Sean and Jack. So come along and join me on Tuesdays, most Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, and sign up for my mailing list. Otherwise, that way when that restarts, which is imminent, you'll be able to find out more about what's going on. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye.